and welcome to Pixelated Geek's live coverage of the Star Wars Battlefront. Are we calling it Battlefront 3, or is it... I mean, the promos say Battlefront.
But to us, it's 3.
Yeah. So, Star Wars Battlefront / Battlefront 3. So what we're going to do today, we are providing a streaming link on this post. You can actually see that. You can watch it live from there. So what we're going to do, we're doing a little bit of preview overview. We're going to do talk about what Battlefront means to us, and some potential sort of speculative topics ahead of time. We'll cut off just before the stream starts, right at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So you can watch that live stream, which again you'll be able to watch on this same page. During that, the Cover It Live plugin at the bottom of this page will be blogging our impressions during that event, and then afterwards we'll be broadcasting through the same Twitch stream our follow-up thoughts on what the reveal. So I'm James Honeycutt. This is JJ Crass. JJ, not Jonathan. JJ. Got it right.
This is my apartment.
Yes, and this is JJ's apartment. And it's a shame that you guys can't see everything. Yes, that's Eldwin. Yes, that's Marcus. But there's a ton of other badass stuff around here. We might cover that. Like, there's definitely a Lancer right up there. So
Gotta keep it classy.
yeah, this is how you geek. So we're here today really to talk about Star Wars Battlefront. And I think it would be a good place to start for us to talk about what Battlefront means to us. So, JJ, what were your first experiences with Battlefront?
I never got into the first one right away on PC. Ended up buying them both right when Battlefront 2 came out. I bought Battlefront 1.
Mm-hmm.
Played them a lot. And kind of took a break for a while because I went back to Battlefield. But for me, Battlefront was always fun just to pick up the XXL battles and do like Geonosia or Hoth and just duke it out, and then eventually become the hero type and destroy everybody.
Right.
Or the hero fights. Those were always fun.
Those were. So I have always been a really big Star Wars gamer. I wasn't as big a gamer until the Star Wars games happened to me. My background was predominantly in like tabletop stuff initially. That was most of what I did. And then X-Wing came out and TIE Fighter and like all of those. So Star Wars really was what I did in gaming before I actually was a gamer. Battlefront came out at like a very strange time. But I mean, obviously the thing that we all want, like the thing that we love about video games, is the ability to inhabit our favorite worlds. And I think, for me anyway, a lot of what was appealing to me about Battlefront is that you could jump into all of the classic battles. And you could fly a snowspeeder, you could take down an AT-AT, and I loved that. So I was super excited when Battlefront came out. I didn't play it as much online as I did just sort of the bot matches and stuff like that initially. But it was definitely one of those games for me that I would play just to have fun. Like it wasn't one of those games that I played really seriously competitively. Now granted, as soon as 2 came out and you had the ability to jump into, like, if you performed well, you were able to jump into Yoda or Obi-Wan or just something like that. Like that was when I got really into the online for it. And because it had been such a span of time in between 2 and now, when they first put it back on Steam, which was like 2 years ago?
And all the keys sold out?
Right, yeah, yes. I purchased that game and went to install it, and that was the first time I ran into that Steam error where they're like, you don't have a CD key. And I'm like, but I just paid for it. They're like, but you don't.
But we don't have any, sorry. And
yeah.
It took like a couple days?
Yeah, it did. It took a week for me to get into it, but once it did, I think I played that solidly for like a week and a half. yeah, Battlefront has always been, to me, just like a really cool way to inhabit the Star Wars universe, the parts of it that like we really like. So I mean, yeah, it's the one thing that kind of about that always like threw me off though is like coming from like X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and like all of those. As soon as you get into a space battle in that game, you're like, I can turn left and I can turn right and I can shoot, but I can't I can't do crazy maneuvers. I can't. So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to about this one is seeing how they've addressed that. Seeing whether or not they've sort of modernized the. Because Battlefront was always simplistic, right? It always felt like it didn't feel like a really hardcore squad-based shooter. It felt like a fun squad-based shooter.
And you never felt like you were in a squadron when you were doing space fights, which
right.
You want to have that feeling because you want to be saying like Red 5 checking in and then, yeah. But
that's so much a part of Star Wars for me personally. So that's definitely something I'm really looking forward to. And that's actually a really nice segue for the next bit that I really want to talk about, which is DICE is creating this game. DICE is the developer. And DICE is known, obviously, for the Battlefield franchise. And aside from that, they're known for some relatively hardcore mechanics. I mean, I wouldn't say that Battlefield is the most hardcore online multiplayer title, but it definitely is more so than any of the other AAA titles. So if you're talking about, obviously Call of Duty is a little arcadey and gimmicky. There are games like Red Orchestra that are crazy hardcore, but those games aren't as sort of big. They don't have as much of an impact on the market as Battlefield does. So I don't think it's, and I mean, argue with me here, but I think that Battlefield is probably the most popular most popular shooter that has hardcore elements and tendencies to it.
Yeah, I would say that too. And it's weird. I was happy when they picked it up because do you remember seeing the leaked gameplay from the original third one that was supposed to happen? Yeah. And it was a guy getting in, doing a ground fight, and then getting into a ship and doing an air fight. Mm-hmm. And I want that in this, and I hope they can translate that into this. I don't want to see a separation between space and that. I think DICE has the engine for it and the know-how that we could hopefully get something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. I think that one of the things that I'm most excited about is seeing how they handle that, because Battlefield is known for battlefield moments. You're in a fighter, you take out a jet, but you ram into something, and right before you hit it, you jump out, you parachute, and then you come in over a tank, and then you hit the E button like right at the right time, and then you're in the tank, and then like that's Battlefield. Now that's what makes Battlefield awesome. The potential that we will have to do that in Star Wars is just nuts. I mean, that's awesome. Like that's the thing I think that I'm most excited about. Though that kind of raises a couple of questions. Though, are blaster pistols going to be completely overpowered with no drop over time?
I was gonna say, is it gonna be blaster bolt drop?
Yes, right. No, bowcaster drop probably, because that's an actual thing that's like a projectile that's being fired. But I don't think I want to see drop. I wonder too if we're gonna have battlefields like pinpoint and then like spray out issue, and I hope not, because they're not ballistics.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be any kick on those. There always seems to be kick in the Star Wars universe.
Also, if they're going to do a third-person view, which was one of the cool things about Battlefront, which Battlefield doesn't do.
Doesn't ever do.
It's a third-person view, but that was always cool with Battlefront, where, just switch to third-person while you're running in battle, seeing all the people around you.
Right.
Sometimes it was better to play in third, but...
Well, yeah, and I think one of the things that I'm really interested to see is whether or not we're going to see that same sort of hero element from Battlefront 2 return. And if that is the case, I would think that would mandate the addition of a third-person view, because I can't imagine that it would be easy.
A lightsaber,
right.
Or say a FET class type.
Sure, like if you're using a lightsaber, like there's a reason why almost every hack and slash title is third person, and it's because you need to see around you, but you also need to see the range of your weapon, and it's cooler that way. And it's also, unless you have like a super crazy wide FOV, it's really hard to control a melee weapon in first person. Chivalry is a great example of the frenetic quality that first person combat brings. So here's hoping, that we'll see that.
Indestructible environments with the dice engines, so think about.
Please. Oh, please. No, I want that. If I can't melt snow with a blaster, I'm gonna be mad. So that's definitely an element that I really want to see included. So on that note, in that direction, Battlefield is known for several sort of core elements. So obviously there's the squad-based thing. Battlefield is known for a very deep unlock system. Do you think we're going to get an unlock system with this?
Well, seeing how there weren't as many variant weapon types in what they call the canon universe, but with the expanded there were. Mm-hmm. And now what are they accepting as canon versus,
right,
what they nulled out? So I don't know. I think it'd be cool to upgrade, a trooper blaster, but are they going to let us do it?
Yeah, the question I think really comes down to how much license is Disney / Lucasfilm giving DICE to play with the universe.
Or the idea of making troopers be able to hit something would be fun.
That would be, yeah. So how realistic to the universe is this? If you pick a stormtrooper, should you aim in the opposite direction in order to hit someone? I don't know. I really do hope that we get all the different variants of stormtrooper. I really do hope that we get a lot of different sort of content in the universe. So here's something that raises an interesting point for me. Do we get the Battle of Hoth, right? We can assume that from the first trailer that showed the Battle of Hoth. And some of the promotional material that just happened.
The Endor, or in Hoth, or the speeder.
Right. So we can assume that we're getting content from episodes 4, 5, and 6. Like, I don't think that that's outside the realm of possibility given what we've seen. I don't think that, for instance, we're going to be getting the second Battle of Hoth or another battle on an Endor-like planet. That seems reasonable to you?
I think it would fit. Because also the look of what we've seen so far hasn't been any prequel stuff, and it hasn't been something too drastic. I don't think we've seen too much in the way of the Rebels, or now what they're going to be called in the films, the Resistance. So nothing's been marketed so I think it's going to be staying close to the original trilogy in that time frame.
Well, the speeder bike that you're seeing, whether that is in fact Endor or not, the speeder bike is the speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. The helmets that they were using in Return of the Jedi, we've seen that on the troops. We've seen, as I remember, we've seen a snow trooper, right? I feel like the stormtrooper that I saw in the reveal on Twitter yesterday was a sand trooper. But like all the designs look to be original trilogy designs. Okay, so I think we can speculate that that's gonna be like a heavy element, the original Star Wars trilogy. What are your thoughts on whether or not we're going to see Episode 7 content in Battlefront?
I mean, I remember hearing rumors that possibly there would be a single player that would be in that too, and that's something I'm afraid of. Because
DICE single players
aren't.
Yeah, unless you're talking about Mirror's Edge. DICE single players are terrible, universally.
And so it's also, are you going to pick the Rebels, or are you going to be the Empire in the campaign? But yeah, so there have been rumors that they'll be getting 2 weeks before the film comes out, the Jakku planet map.
Okay, all right.
The not Tatooine planet.
Not Tatooine. That's pretty much Tatooine in every possible, down to the designs of the houses and the moisture extractors. But so I think that that's cool. The thing that I need them to not do, please do not ruin the movie for me. Don't ruin the movie. Don't do that. And I don't think Disney will let them. I think at most we're going to see some sort of combat similar to what we've seen in the trailers, like a dogfight above. But you're releasing this game November 17th? Yeah, so November 17th, and then we have a month and a week before the film comes out. Now, it said, just to clarify, this is something we talked about yesterday. The trailer release yesterday said Christmas. I realized that it says Christmas, but it doesn't say Christmas Day. Does that indicate to you that's the season of release, that it's going to be in and around there? Or does that... I mean, that implies to me Christmas Day.
Because some films do come out on Christmas Day, around that weekend. So, I think if they want to get viewership, putting it on Christmas Day would be stupid. Mm-hmm. Even though I would be like, love your family, but we're going to go to the movies.
That's the one thing I will do on Christmas Day out in public. That will happen. If
that's the case. And if it's, the 26th, I will be doing that.
Yeah.
So...
we'll probably be doing it...
The midnight.
Both of those.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes out on Christmas Day, I will see that. I will see that movie up to 10 times in the first week. I have no doubt.
And then when it comes out on Blu-ray, you'll just kind of just...
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm going to
just have it on repeat at all times.
Yeah, exactly. So, what that means, though, we have at least a month lead time. At least. Possibly, a month and a week. I really hope that there's not much in the way of content from it. I mean, God forbid that I recommend DLC. Because I don't believe in it. I think it's a terrible thing. Unless you handle it the way Bethesda does, 6 months after, significant amount of content.
Horse armor.
Okay, yeah, that's bad. That's a great example of a good studio making a terrible choice. Yeah. That said, I totally bought the horse armor. But so, like, what I would hope is that if we do see content from Episode 7, that it is released after Episode 7, or that it be a map with absolutely no spoilers, no indication of the direction of the plot whatsoever. And I think, DICE has a good head on their shoulders, despite the fact that they can't make a single player to save their life.
Or a game's not playable until, how many months?
Yeah, they don't always have the best reputation for initial polish, but what they lack in that, they do gain in the fact that their games are eventually, 6 months later, some of the best experiences ever. I mean, I think that Battlefield 3, about 6 months after its release, was one of the best multiplayer titles. Battlefield 4 has recently reached the point where it's not just playable, it's great. Very balanced. I'm very excited to see what they do with it. I hope it works on day one, and I think if there is a game that has the potential to destroy the internet with server load, I think it's this one. People have been waiting for Battlefront forever. People that aren't gamers are going to want to play Battlefront. People that aren't Star Wars fans but love DICE games are going to want to play Battlefront. I think this is a game that has the potential to really screw up the United States internet infrastructure for a good span of time, and the world for that matter.
Luckily, they have a great customer support over at Origin.
Yeah, no, that's at least their customer support is handled by EA, who we all know is the friendliest group of people.
Their customer support is very nice.
Have you... See, I haven't ever... And it's funny because EA gets a really bad reputation, but I'm thinking about it. I've never had to interact with EA's customer service.
I had to, and it was actually a very pleasant and wonderful experience. So, better than most things. And it's better than Valve, where it's make a new account to talk to us. We'll get back to you whenever.
Yeah.
Where Origin, I was on the phone with somebody, handled the situation in like 20 minutes, and I think because of the inconvenience, they gave me like a voucher.
Yeah, okay.
I'm fine it's like, that. Thank you. But,
yeah. Well, and again, I mean, EA gets such a bad reputation. And like every message board I've been on, every comment on every post I've seen about Battlefront is EA will find a way to screw this up, and I just don't think they will. One of the things EA definitely has a reputation for, if they know the franchise is a moneymaker, they will pour money on it and they will support the hell out of it. And that's the reason why we still have Madden's, NBA's, FIFA's, The Sims. They're big franchises they take care of. And I think there's no question that Disney and Lucasfilm have a lot of financial weight to bear. And I think, given that this is the first licensed Star Wars title since Disney has taken over it, I think DICE and EA both understand that there's a lot riding on this. If they do it right and they do it well, they then create a situation for a very fruitful partnership for what is without a doubt one of the largest financial draws in entertainment.
I think they said, 10 years was the idea that the EA would have the Star Wars title.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't milk it. I mean, we'll probably buy every single game and complain about it. But this is DICE doing it, and this is the Battlefield 4 lead team that switched over to do this.
Yes.
I think. So
this is not
the veteran team working on Star Wars.
Right.
I'm okay with this.
It's their designated hitters.
Yeah.
It's not nobody. It's the team that made the Battlefield franchise the preeminent, serious online multiplayer battle experience. That's who was doing it, and that was the most exciting thing to me. I mean, almost 11 months ago when we saw this trailer for the first time. The thing that really sold me on all of it was that it was DICE. I knew that I was gonna I was gonna buy this game whether it was gonna be good or not. But the fact that it's DICE doing it is just... That's a right answer. That's who you get to do a game like this, because they invented, in a lot of ways, not just the genre, but the design concept for how you build a game like this. Battlefront was preceded by a mod for Battlefield 1942 called, was it Galactic Conquest? I don't remember the exact name of it because it was a long time ago. But when the second 1942 came out, the mod community went, we're going to turn that into Star Wars. And
they do that with everything, and it's fine.
But yeah, they just go to town on that. But so that's what this genre is about. It's perfect for it, and this is the perfect team to do it. And I don't think I know anyone that's not amazingly excited.
And even though EA and DICE are very close, we can see EA's gotten better with other studios. Look how they dealt with Titanfall. They essentially just put it out on the market.
Yeah.
They didn't really have any hands-on or anything like that with Respawn.
Yeah.
And so I think it seems like from rumors that Battlefront won't use the battle log system is already a good sign that they're kind of do your own thing now. We'll leave you alone.
Yeah. And so actually that's an interesting point that you make. Battlelog was initially, when Battlelog was forced into Battlefield 3, that was an EA choice.
Mm-hmm.
I just learned something. Okay, so that isn't DICE's... Did DICE push for an internal system?
I think it was originally EA's choice. I don't know if DICE really wanted to push, but I don't think DICE had a say.
Sure, obviously.
But I think EA has learned how to be a better publisher,
mm-hmm.
and I think allowing DICE to do their own thing. I think having this game launched separately from the browser is going to cause a lot less headaches.
Yeah.
And it kind of just shows a little more faith with EA and DICE being you can have your own choices now.
That's a really good point. How much of that decision do you think is based on the fact that Battlefield is predominantly PC? That's where Battlefield lives. I know that there are console versions of it, and I do not regret the incendiary nature of this comment. But no version of Battlefield that isn't on a PC is a real version of Battlefield. It's not. The games don't play as well. They don't run as well, and I think only one of them has the same server count, right? Battlefield 4 on the next-gen consoles does have 32 versus 32. Mm-hmm. Still doesn't run as well. That's it. Battlefield is for PC. That's where it lives. Now, Battlefront, on the other hand, I think had a lot more financial success on the consoles,
right.
On the PS2 and on the Xbox.
That's when there were more console gamers than there were PC gamers.
Right. That is because it started out all PC and then it fluctuated to a console like Bell, and then with this generation, it seems to have evened out a lot. Now, that said, there have always been more PC gamers total. I think it's just it went from more hardcore to less hardcore to more hardcore. And so how much of that shift in moving away from Battlelog, how much do you think that's caused by the fact that this game is likely going to see massive sales on current generation console hardware?
I don't know. Because I know the rumor that's only going to be PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh, I'm sorry. I consider that current.
No, I know I do too. I
Yeah,
do too.
okay.
But
Yeah.
like,
I'm glad
them
you pointed that out, though.
stating, I hate when people say it's next gen. It's not. Sorry, it's here. It's
Yeah.
now. But I think there's that push because I know there's a little bit of bigger market with those systems, especially with PS4 right now. Obviously, no Wii U, but I think it's kind of even now because they know they'll get the PC gamers automatically, and I think they know that they should push a little more for the console gamers. And it's just, I think also the idea of the Battlelog map system wouldn't work in Battlefront. So I think it's their stepping away. And I also think it's because this is now Disney's baby, not just EA's baby. They're going to do a little differently than it would be if it was another Battlefield title.
Yeah.
If it was an EA, Disney wasn't involved. They just had Star Wars rights. I think EA would kind of push it their way, but Disney's the one who's writing the checks.
Right. Yeah. When you have what is the largest entertainment conglomerate in the world saying you can use one of our most lucrative IPs, there is a certain level of a mentality of being beholden to that financial giant. Yeah. So I'm super excited about this, and we're going to cut off in just a second here. But before we cut off, any news on leaks that I don't know about?
Let's see, the 40-player count.
40-player count. Okay,
I think the demo that has been played recently was on Endor, or the moon of Endor.
Okay.
November 17th.
November 17th.
Xbox One, PS4, and PC only.
Okay, current generation, PC only. Okay.
Can't really think of anything else.
So the leaks on Twitter the other day showed us a Sand Trooper. Anything else from the leaks on?
I haven't seen any other leaks recently.
Okay. Cool. So thank you guys so much. What you need to do if you're watching this, scroll up. It's the live stream link from YouTube. Press play before it gets too late. We're going to go and see that. We're going to be live blogging below that on Cover It Live. Thanks so much for watching. I'm James Honeycutt.
I'm JJ Grass.
And we will see you guys as soon as this trailer is over. Bye.